This is Slim Overton from the Slim Nation, and we are here with you this morning. It's a lovely Saturday morning, and we are coming on just to talk a little bit. You can see I have the camera, the camera, camera. Well, anyway, I got we are in my studio. We're in my little private studio here. This is where a lot goes on in the studio here. I have like two screens. Well, actually three screens, two laptops, and a tablet where I try to keep up with what's going on in some of my other live shows where we use several different platforms. Right this morning, I'm just using my YouTube channel platform. And hello out there, everybody on in YouTube land. Thanks for joining, or if you're going to join later, or if you're going to watch later, thank you. We appreciate you. We're just trying to get the Slim Nations One on Ones podcast YouTube channel going. We have a lot of things planned, of course, the one on ones, but also you're going to get these one on ones with myself coming in here and talking about different issues, different things I've gone through. And this morning, I just want to mention, I want to know how many people really have experienced this too, of a certain generation house parties. The house party movies were pretty popular back in the day, but in reality, they were really popular back in the day for me in my younger days when I used to go to clubbing or go to dances, and but the house parties were the thing. That was where you saw somebody on a Friday or during the week, and you just asked, "Where is the party this weekend?" And they would tell you if they knew where the house party was. A lot of times you didn't even know the host of the house parties. Often you did know, and but people that hosted those house parties just opened it up to whoever came. I'm sure they didn't want the world to come, but it was always a certain circle of people that knew where the house parties were, and the host felt comfortable that they wouldn't bring people that would be disruptive or cause problems. Even though that happens sometimes, but for the most part, the house parties were the best. It might be one room uh, where a spades or a bid whist game was going on, one room where music was playing and dancing was allowed, another room with just pure socializing. The kitchen would be where the food is, and it was amazing how people just opened up their house, and it would be at one place one week, another place another week, and it was just something that was really prevalent back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and maybe kind of in the 90s, but it was kind of winding down then because of the safety issues, and the issues were happening, problems were happening at house parties where unwanted guests might come and just to disrupt, had no reason to come there just to have fun, but just to disrupt, or maybe they were looking for somebody that they, had a beef with, but or during the party, something would happen. You know, if the alcohol started flowing, or the herb start flowing, start to smoke. Uh, well, usually it was the alcohol that probably sparked conflict. The reefer smoking, just made everybody happy in many cases. Maybe a combination of the two was a conflict within that person, happy, then confrontational, with the alcohol. But sometimes the alcohol would cause people to get into uh, a fight, actually. And most of the time, the host would have to put the people out, or there were people there that were there specifically for any issues that might happen like that. But for the most part, those house parties were something to be remembered. If you went by yourself, you had the opportunity to meet somebody and you might leave with that person, or you might get their number and contact them later. And if you went with a partner, you just had a good time. And getting back home, you could talk about all the fun you had. And it's just like a social event that probably went on every weekend. Of course, there were the clubs that were open that, you had to spend some money there, but the house parties was more of a personal thing, and um, the closeness, and in many cases you knew all the people there. If not personally, you knew them from seeing them around in the neighborhood or in the city, or they went to your school or something like that. So, you know, uh, it'd be nice to be able to have those again. And I think they have them in a form of more like family gatherings now, as opposed to just throwing a house party and just putting the word out there, and anybody could just come as long as they behave. Or and sometimes the house parties, you would bring something. It was orchestrated where certain people would bring certain foods, or you would bring some wine, or hard alcohol, or and of course, the reefer was flying. You have to admit that during the 70s, it was pretty open. Not everybody was getting high, but it was commonplace. You have to admit that, just like it is now. But it was more of a thing where it was a social act where people just got together and puff puff pass. You know, and what was amazing about those times, if you think about, excuse me, you think about uh, germs and everything like that. And we went through COVID and how easy that could be passed. But back then, the thing about those who partake in the reefer madness, that like they used to call it in the 70s, they had all kinds of things against it, what it caused, or it was a gateway drug to other things uh, more harsh. But in most cases, most people stayed there. But if you ever remember being a part of that, even if you were around it and didn't do it, the process of putting a joint together, you know, where the person that was doing the rolling and put it together and put it in their mouth to licked it to seal it, and then pass it around to everybody else, and nobody had a problem with that person. Sometimes you didn't know who they were, where their mouth had been, but they were rolling. They were the roller for that particular moment, and passed the joint, and you smoked it. You put your lips on where his lips have been, or her lips have been, and it was no problem. I could see that. Excuse me, possibly being a problem there. It might be, I don't know how they do it now. I don't know if they have a different process, which is not as unsanitary as that probably was. But that was the thing back there, if you admit it. And some of you watching might remember that. It was illegal, and but and some people did get caught up in it, and got some serious time behind something that was not that serious. It wasn't something, but it was illegal. It was illegal. Just like at one time, selling alcohol was illegal until doing prohibition. So, that was that, and that was the how the house parties went. And as I think about the legalization of marijuana now, um, it really has to be defined how it is legal, because you go to events now and sit out there and you can smell it all around, and you can see people actually openly It might not be the little white paper joints, but they might pack it in a cigar or uh, something like that. I guess that's the way you do it now. And openly smoking right out in the open. And I think people might be confused about. I guess it depends on the state or locality. I think nationally, it's illegal, and some states have their own laws about it. But it has it's like it's legal, but it's a controlled legalization. So you still can't be out in public doing it. I don't think so. Maybe we'll have somebody on uh, the Commonwealth of attorney from one of the cities to kind of explain to everybody what the legalization of marijuana means now. As far as what can you do and what you can't do. You have the shops that you have to go through quite a bit to open to sell, cannabis products, things like that. So are those the places where you can sell um, actual marijuana that gets you high? Yeah. So those are the questions we have to answer. So we know some of the smoke shops now, um, along with everything else they're doing, are getting busted because they're selling marijuana. I guess you have to be able to sell it without the TCP. Is it TCP? The ingredients in marijuana that gets you high, and most people are selling it as a product, cannabis product, as a healing property. Something that you can rub on you and heal you, or chew in gummy fashion to make you feel better. So yeah, maybe we need to define that more, because I think a lot of people are confused and it's legalized, but it's not in some places. You still some things you can't do because on the national scene it's not legal. So it's a state by state thing, and we see this state by state thing going on now in the Trump administration, turning a lot of things over to the state, like the pot or want to, like the Department of Education. And I think, and personally, I think that's a bad idea. you know, the states have a part, a say in education, but they need the federal funds in order to really operate, to completely operate. It would be devastating if they took away the National Department of Education, in my opinion. So I guess that story is ongoing, and we'll see how that plays out. People will give their opinions, and hopefully somebody will listen uh, and know how important it is to still have that that government part of education to trickle down to our states, to help our states in the funding that they give education. The states can't handle that completely without the government help as far as education. So dismantling the Department of Education, I can see if they want to sort of cut back on waste, but completely dismantling that would be a bad idea. I don't know. You can tell me what you think. But I sort of digressed from the house parties, which is the main thing I came up here to talk about. And again, everybody watching, please, this Slim Nation One on Ones podcast, please like, subscribe, and yeah, we look for your comments as well, and for you to share. But mainly, we want you to subscribe and and pay attention to be stay tuned for future shows that we'll have featuring either myself having a commentary, or mainly it'll be a one-on-one with a special guest sharing their stories. And I have about 100 and over 100 videos now with one-on-ones with local authors and national authors, and people that just want to tell their story. One particular story that I did recently was with Ashona Choke Swinson, who shares her story about abuse, relationship abuse that she went through for about 9 years, and trying to escape, and without success, and having children involved in it, and finally having to leave the area that she was in order to escape it. But it's a intriguing story. So check that out. And if you know someone that maybe is going through that or have been through that, it definitely will be therapeutic for them to watch that show and listen to what her experiences, and it might be similar to what you've gone through, and it might be helpful as far as letting you know what to avoid. And we also had a second show along with Kalima Overton Amin, who has written a book called Hidden in Plain Sight about the narcissist, being in a relationship with a narcissist, and how that can be, and the warning signs about as far as getting involved with a person who likes to have total control, and it's not necessarily always physical abuse, but emotional and mental abuse can be a big part of that relationship that you want to stay away from. So check out that video as well that we did with Kalima Overton Amin. And check out her book, Hidden in Plain Sight. It's a book that, even if you're not going through it now, that will be very helpful, and and knowing the signs, because you might have someone in your family or a friend that might be going through something that you had no idea, unless you know what signs to look for, because many people in those relationships try to hide it, or you don't even know. You could be close friends to them, and the narcissist that's involved in that kind of relationship knows how to manipulate, manip. Well, let me get away from that word because I'll be here all day trying to. Who tries to smooth the people around the person that they are in a relationship with, to the point where those people don't believe that he's that bad, because he's so uh, respectful and everything around other people, but yet at home he is devastating his partner or wife or spouse that they are involved with. So pick up that book, Hidden in Plain Sight, by Kalima Overton Amin. And so I was very pleased to be able to have a show with her along with Shona Choke Swinson, who I had a one-on-one with previously, telling her experience. So uh, it was very informative, and I learned a lot even myself watching or listening to these two ladies talk about their experiences. So so when you go on, or if you're here, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe. That's the main thing I need you to do. But along with subscribing, if you're watching, make sure you hit that like button. Those views are important too, but the subscriptions uh, are permanent. The likes, I need them every show. I need different likes every show. Even if you've watched the show 20 times, each time you watch the show, please hit the like button so we can get those views up. But if you've already subscribed, fine. And I thank you for that. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. But we're trying to grow it. We're young. We're trying to really grow. And we're going to be putting out a lot more videos. I'm trying to make the time to do that along with uh, the other podcasts that I do. So we want to be able to make sure I have plenty of time to do my podcast, which is the Slim Nation 101's podcast, because I have some people lined up that I think would be very interesting, very entertaining, very informative. And we're just going to have fun on those one-on-ones talks, and some city council people, local, and we're trying to get everybody and cover a range of subjects and issues. I particularly like authors, people who have written books telling their story or telling it through nonfiction or telling it through fiction. Some people write a fiction story, but it really is a reflection of something they've been through in their life, or it's just something in their imagination, that they come up with, and it's a uh, good fiction book, a good story. So I like to have the author. So if you're watching and you are an author, please contact me, and we'll have a conversation. I love to purchase those books. You can see back here, I have a lot of books that I purchased from the people I've had on, the artists I've had on, or artists that I've heard about. Now, and I get the book and try to go through it and read it and be prepared to have a conversation about it. But um, so please do that. Do that. But you can see me in my little humble studio here, and um, I'm always learning different techniques or different things to do, different platforms, trying out. I'm trying out the Riverside, which I'm trying out now, which I can go directly live to my YouTube channel. Also use StreamYard. I'm doing plugs for all these different things. I have Zoom, but I don't use it as much. I use it a lot of other people when I'm on a call with people. They have Zoom, so I like to have it just in case I want to do something as well on Zoom. So, but mainly I'm trying out these different. Well, mainly I'm with Yardstream and Riverside, and each one of them have uh, different qualities that they are a little bit better at. Uh, so you might see me going back and forth between the two, especially with the Slim Nation one-on-ones. Slim Nation one-on-ones, I'm leaning more towards just if if I do the live shows, to do the live shows directly to YouTube and not YouTube and Facebook. I can uh, download it to Facebook later, but I'm interested in building my channel on YouTube, and that's why I want to concentrate my live shows on YouTube. Even the shows I record, I'll send them to YouTube as well. But I like to do the live shows because it's many times it's interactive. So uh, I guess I'm running out of rambling things to say. Just wanted to come on this morning, and I'll still be in the studio most of this morning, uh, just learning stuff, trying new things, and watching instructional videos. You never can know too much, and starting to gather a lot of different gadgets. Not going on the high level price of the gadgets right now. When you're starting out with a new gadget, sometimes you you go to the top, it can get quite expensive, and then you find out it's not something that you really want to use. So, but the ones that I get are reasonable, and it gives me an opportunity to check them out and see if I can add that to what I do. I'm trying to when the weather breaks, it makes it much easier to get out of the studio and do a lot of things on location. We're working on going to, and this is with the Portsmouth Coffee Talk podcast we have, working on going over to the IC Norcom Library and having a conversation with the librarian who we've had on the show before, and we did it virtually. But it's going to be, they did a renovation in the library over there at that high school. And we want to go over there and sort of talk to the librarian and sort of witness all the new gadgets and all the new equipment they have over there, and how well it's serving the students. So we're going to do that. So we like the location things, and you'll see that with the Slim Nation 101s and as well as Portsmouth Coffee Talk podcast. But right now, we're talking about the Slim Nation one-on-ones. And uh, I guess you can see I love my books, and you see my music over there, my CDs. And yeah, I still have the CDs, even though everybody is loading music now, which is the best way, or to going on online to listen to music. And I don't know how that works or how people get paid. I guess they get paid according to how many downloads they get. And I'm talking about the artists. You get a certain amount of downloads, and that's how they get paid. Because it was a problem in the beginning when it first started, because people were downloading music, and the artists weren't getting paid like they traditionally were getting paid by people buying their CDs. You have a lot of people still buying the CDs, and now you're seeing also an upsurge on people looking for those classic albums, want to possess the albums. And I have a very extensive album collection, and a turntable that I go to every once in a while. Sometimes I like to hear that little crackling sound at the beginning of a record or album, and hear the music the way it was recorded on that particular for that particular album, vinyl, as we call it back then. So that's kind of nostalgic. So, but anyway, we're here again, and I must keep saying, please subscribe and stay tuned for more shows. One thing I'm trying to do, and I tried to do this before, but life got in the way, is to be on at a certain time every, but 3 days a week, and possibly going to every morning, uh, whether I had guests or not. And sometimes it's kind of hard to get guests. If you say, for instance, if I want to, my show came on at 8 o'clock every day, which is what I was trying to do last time before I kind of revived the Slim Nation one-on-ones podcast, and just come on every day, so people that watch or want to subscribe, they know, or hit the like button for whatever I'm talking about, and especially whatever guests come there. Uh, you'll know 8 o'clock. That's when the show will be on. But also, once the show is on at 8 o'clock, it still is out there in YouTube land for all to see. But the live things, like I said before, is more interactive, where people can talk back to you. And that's usually on my yard stream. Uh, we're still trying to figure out if Riverside has that kind of opportunity to talk back live. I think they do. But anyway, thanks again for watching. And who knows, I might pop up again later on another platform, on Facebook, just to do a live something. So you never know. But thanks everybody for watching, as always, on the Slim Nation 101 show. And then in the Slim Nation, I like to say, be aware, be informed, and most of all, just be involved. Take care. We'll see you next time.